Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Digital Signage Explored, all the way from Orlando, Florida at InfoComm. I have with me a very special guest, Frank Larsen, CCO of Signagelive. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you very much this morning.
I wanted to just make a quick special thank you to AV On Air, Midwich Group, for allowing us to have this space. It is fantastic and I love it, and we obviously do the same thing over at ISE, but it's such a privilege to be able to use such an incredible recording space in a pretty unique location. Frank, yesterday you did a speakers panel.
I did indeed, yes.
How was that for you?
It was great because it's something that is, when I was requested to actually participate, was something I feel is important to all of us. The topic was AI and Generation Z and the impact on digital signage and customer engagement. And I felt that was something that really relates to me, and I felt that was actually why I decided to join this panel.
There's a few people on the panel, right? What was the general consensus? Was there, everyone kind of in agreement? Was there a theme, or was it going back and forth?
So it was various speakers. One of them obviously was a Generation Z person that actually kind of like from their perspective, and I think that was very interesting to get his perception of it. We also had a content creator that actually was doing content for digital signage and how they let AI and other things actually impact the creation they do.
So what was the outcome then? Is it positive? Is there an element of fear in there? What's the general consensus?
I did a little research prior to that and found out that Generation Z is actually 20% of the population we have. And
really?
The embracement of AI is up to 96% among Generation Z. So they embrace AI. Interesting enough, also about 63% of them actually has a little bit fear of what it can lead to. Because there's this element of attraction and fear, because it is a little bit unknown. Still, we are just at the start of this, and we still have a lot to see what's coming.
I think that is what is so fascinating at this point. Is I always look at it as like, this is our internet revolution for Gen Z. I went through it when I went from having a black and white TV to having all of the world in my pocket. This is that kind of a leap from having that to I don't know what the future of that looks like.
Except actually that AI has doubled the speed of adoption that we had. When the internet came, it actually took much longer. We see adoption of AI so much faster, which means it's something that every business have to relate to. You can't sit back. It's basically, as we said yesterday, is if you are not on the train when it rolls now, you will be left on the station standing there, and it's moving so fast.
I think that's because I completely agree from that point. And then there's that kind of moral question where you almost don't get time to sit down and have the moral discussion, because if you sit down and have that discussion, everything else in the business landscape would have changed by the time anyone's made any decisions. I think that's the kind of thing to be aware of going through this process, is we do need to stop and think, but at the same time, not everyone's going to do that. There are going to be businesses, there's going to be companies that keep pushing forward without that kind of proper due diligence and understanding what the ramifications are and what is the most valuable way of using AI. Did you agree with that?
Yeah, it was a McKinsey forecasted actually that majority of Fortune 500 companies would not exist if they didn't integrate an AI policy and have that as part of their strategy.
Right.
So yes, I do believe that if it is not whether we want it or not, it is there.
It's coming.
And it's how we embrace it. And one of the things that I felt that was a good response from the audience yesterday was, what do we do because we feel unsafe? And I said the first thing to do is to have a policy around it. Because have a policy, AI policy in your company. Because if you tell people you cannot use AI in your business, that is unsafe, well, you will be left behind. Because it's coming, whatever it's, any tool we use today now have more or less AI in it. So the better to have some clear policies on how you're going to use it and embrace it, because it is a big help. It's not the master key to everything, but it's actually a very good help. And to be fair, I use it on a daily basis.
Yeah, same. I think you're right. It's like, when you say AI, I think people think immediately like kind of Terminator levels of like Skynet, and it's just not there. It's not at that point, and it's going to be tens, if not hundreds of years we get to that point. But it does remove so much of the clutter of work, like checking emails and reviewing documents, and just being able to put all of that into one LLM or something that just kind of captures all that. I know we're using it internally for some of those things. It just takes a lot of the research time away from the human intervention, which just gives you more time to do things you like doing.
I would say, obviously, in a sales position, you do a lot of market research.
Yeah.
And some of those analysis, I would usually spend maybe up to a week to do that. I can now get the headlines. Obviously, it's, as I said, it's not the 100% truth. It's taking, but the fact is you get the kind of framework for what would take weeks. You can actually get that in seconds. And then you can start looking into it. And what I do like about some of the models is it allows you to get where is the referencing from and check the validity of that. And then, yeah, it's actually very good work done.
Yeah.
And it takes away a lot of the workload we had in the past.
Yeah, it
for
really
the more
does.
boring work, let's say that, the administrative work.
I think one of the most interesting things that I've been looking into is this kind of agentic piece where you can give it a source document as your body of truth, and you just say, if you're going to write something for me or you're going to propose something, here's the safeguards of the structure, and then you have to follow that. And I think a lot of it now just comes down to reviewing what it said and making sure because it's never 100% accurate. There's things that you go, actually, I wouldn't have said it like that, but it's just not having to work off a blank page, which I think is a big struggle for a lot of people. You open up a Word document, wherever you look at it, and there's nothing there. Starting that documentation is harder. Having AI just go, look, here's your principle, tweak it to your preference. And I think it's always good to have a human at the beginning, AI in the middle, and then a human at the end. So you've got that connection.
I agree, and I think I would say most of us are not ready to give up to AI, let do the things, but AI assisted is actually what I see as, because yes, you can tell sometimes you get an email that is 100% AI generated, and it takes away a little bit the personality in communication, but in many of the random tasks you have during a day, a lot of the emails can actually be replied by AI because it's kind of just the courtesy replies, etc. And for that, I think that would be an enormous help. It's actually looking at the context and actually reply with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Was there any other kind of interesting insights from the speaker panel that you took away with you?
Something I probably already knew, but was nice to get confirmed by our Generation Z panelists, is that generation, unless you are captivating them and engaging with them very fast, they are off the grid. We're talking seconds, and I think for digital signage, when I started working with that 34 years ago, it was all about inform.
Yeah.
And then later changed more to inspire, but now it's all about engagement. If you don't have engagements, unfortunately that generation will not look up from the small screen they have in their hand.
Yeah.
They will actually keep looking on that, which means whatever you spend on putting up screens and content will not be seen.
Yeah.
So engaging content, new ways of engaging with them based on AI actually is something that we see could get the attention back outside the small screen we all carry.
Interesting. Yeah. It's going to be a very different landscape in a year, 2 years, 3 years. It's all going to be progressively ramping up, so it'll be really interesting to find out. Frank, I appreciate you taking some time here. I know we've got a busy show floor. We need to get straight back and we've got meetings for days, but thank you for taking 10 minutes with me today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.